is 2005, and not a single hair has formed on my... My parents leave for work, and I fire up the family computer. It's got 1 gig of RAM and a Celeron processor, and I'm ready to...
I feel like everyone has a game like that. Like that, for me, was Roller Coaster Tycoon, believe it or not.
Get sweaty. And no,
I did not get sweaty with Roller Coaster Tycoon, though.
Hard and play some video games. Sweaty like this game is so physically demanding. I'm literally gonna get sweat all over the mouse and keyboard.
Yeah, cannot relate.
My balls by the time my parents come home. The game I'm referring to
Fire
is
up
called
putt-putt.
GunZ, the Duel, and it should have been the biggest esport in the world. I know.
See, I feel like, and he's probably gonna address this. I feel like people say this about everything. Like, everyone thinks that the game that they play is, like, the greatest game ever.
They wanted to make a really cool third-person shooter where you could do backflips and wall runs, all while spraying your opponent full of lead with various machine guns and pistols and shotguns and all the weapons.
There is a point in my life where this would have been the coolest game I had ever heard of.
What the developers didn't know was they accidentally created the most
These characters are
insane,
insane.
difficult game ever by complete accident. This is how the game was intended to be played.
The characters are like... They're like some weeb's wet dream. Like, this guy has like a katana and like a gigantic cape, trench coat type thing. It's actually funny, like, just looking at this screen, like how much detail there is in the character versus the surroundings, which are one texture with a torch on the wall.
This isn't how the game actually ended up being played. Through a series of button combinations and correct timings, literally everything in this game could be animation canceled. All of these movements, all of these combos, while technically glitches within the game, ended up creating a product that became the most competitive and highest skill ceiling game ever created.
I actually love this shit, like when games have stuff like this. I haven't played a ton of Super Smash Bros. Melee, but in that game it's like wave dashing is the thing. And it looks so like unremarkable when you do it. It almost looks like you're doing nothing, but it just like it increases the skill ceiling of the game so massively. It's just crazy like the stuff that the players figure out, like unintended mechanics that players figure out to raise the skill ceiling of a game.
These combos all culminated to make a gameplay style called K-style, which was short for Korean style. The Korean players started first discovering the animation.
It's always the
cancels
Korean
and the moves
players.
as they had access to the game first before it was rolled out
Koreans
to an
go
international
fucking
audience.
hard on
So naturally,
like
they
any
got good at
game.
the game first. I'm bringing in a special guest to be my training dummy. This is Marty. I met him on GunZ in 2008.
Oh
Today,
my
he's
God.
one of my best friends 13 years later. That's
You love
the
to
kind
see
of
it.
bond competitive play in this game truly formed.
This is another thing, like before games got patches actively, like how broken they could be. Just absolutely every glitch or exploit imaginable was just in the game forever, which is hilarious sometimes what you can do with that.
If you time your actions correctly, you can perform a jump, a slash, a dash, and a block, all in one motion. This not only allows you to have
What
your
on
attack
earth?
and block within the same motion.
This is why this never became a popular game, is because you would hop in a server for the first time expecting to do cool like anime weeb running, wall running shit with a katana, and then you would just have a guy like fly at you T-posing and do like 10,000 damage to you and kill you, and then you would uninstall the game and never play it.
A modern example of this would be in Fortnite. If you're really good at building, someone who isn't good at building will probably never be able to beat you because you're just mechanically.
And this is why Fortnite is super lame.
This is what your character and your hand movement will look like when you're successfully butterflying. Suddenly, this game's a little more intense. Now, take everything I just said and crank it up to
GunZ
11.
walks so
There's
Fortnite can run.
dozens of
True.
moves, just like the butterfly.
Actual
players
facts.
discover. Now, all of a sudden, GunZ gameplay looks and sounds.
It doesn't even look
this.
like he's shooting.
Now forget everything.
How
I
many
just told you.
keyboards do you think you go
Let's be
through
on
a year
female
playing this
character,
game?
dude. Everyone who's good was on a female character, and it wasn't just.
Okay, wait. He's going to explain this, I'm sure, but I'm trying to think of why that could possibly be, other than that a bunch of sweaty weebs played this game and just wanted to be a female character. The thing I hate the most is when competitive quote-unquote games are like have different hitboxes for characters. Like in Halo, people are always the elites because they're harder to headshot. I don't actually know if the hitbox is different, but like the elites have these weird like elongated heads, so it's harder to tell where you get the headshot.
Just for the big E titties, all right? Their hitboxes are smaller, and their character took up
Yep,
less space
called
on
it.
your screen. You should always play guns.
And you can
female
also
character.
make them
It's a
practically
weird
naked.
thing,
Cool.
But believe me, we all did.
It's a double
All right,
whammy.
you weren't weird. All of these functions in guns that I've talked about gave guns extreme longevity and simultaneously buried it in the grave that it's currently in.
Okay.
Players, like
Okay.
myself, who started in 2005, are
At least he recognizes that, because this is the problem, is like, unless you have someone to teach you all these crazy ass moves, like you will boot up this game and you will never play it again.
With the release of the full game internationally, actually came a lot of features that would propel this game into truly becoming a competitive powerhouse.
Wait, so they had a big feature update to the game and they didn't fix all the broken shit? I mean, I guess if people were already like, no, this is how you play the game, the developers are like, oh, okay, we won't mess with that. We won't fix all those glitches that you're abusing.
Unfortunately,
Swine.
the new hosts of the game, EG, also added in pay-to-win items, which were basically required to play at the highest level. But for thousands of addicted players like myself, we basically just looked at the pay-to-win items as like a monthly subscription fee required to play the game competitively. Technically, the items...
That's when you're in
were, like,
deep. They just knew all the like sweaty weebs would pay for whatever they put out. They're like, yeah, if you want to be good at this game, fork over your $5 a month. I bet none of them were buying like the anime skins either, you know? Wink wink. None of them. Or if they were, it was purely for a competitive advantage.
It would publicly display your wins and losses as a clan, your points, your rank, your all-time points. This made players even more competitive against each other, because if you
isn't that the
more than you
goal?
win, everyone is going to know that you're trash at the game.
It's like champ rank in Siege or Radiant in Valorant. Like you actually can see like where like how you rank compared to the other like best players. It has kind of mixed results in some games, but it actually is a good idea, I think, for just the competitive health of the game. There has to be hackers in this game, right? If the entire like competitive meta is based on abusing glitches, there has to be like people who use like macros and like, right? Like there's gotta be. I wonder if he'll talk about that.
There was no skill-based matchmaking. If you queue at the same
Right.
time as another team, you fight, and the first team to 4 rounds wins the clan war. Plain and simple. The game's community, while over 10,000 players strong on any given day, still felt small. I could still remember some of the legendary clans from the early days of
10,000 players is a lot.
Curse.
For a game this niche, 10,000 players is a ton. This month or this past month, Siege had something like 60, 70k average players, which is a lot, but it's not that much more than this crazy buggy weeb game in the grand scheme of things, considering the ocean of difference in how appealing each game is.
So, when the first of the month comes, you better have your ball deodorant ready, because there's going to be some clans to war. The competitiveness of this game goes beyond that, though. Every 3 months, the host
Are there
of the
lands?
game, EG, who we previously mentioned, would host a clan war tournament. This is what we all prepared for in our months of button smashing, synergizing, recruiting the best clanmates.
This is
we could
Worlds.
find. It was all
This
for
is the
official
Invitational.
tournaments. And the grand prize, you ask? An iPod Shuffle.
Holy shit.
Can't even say that seriously, dude.
This is the most 2008 thing I've ever heard.
The tournaments were always 4v4, and it was first to 11, which just felt more competitive.
I'm getting
There was
whiplash
no
from this
fluke in
gameplay
getting
in the
to 4 rounds.
background.
If you got to 11,
I just like, I can't help but wonder what the people who made this game, or even just the people who own this game, think about this competitive scene. Like, clearly they're hosting tournaments and shit, but you release this game into the world, are you like, yeah, like I'm happy about the way this went. This was how I hoped people would play this game.
the Clan War tournaments, every second of those months was just pure heroin in my veins. I literally punch myself in the dick every
This guy
morning if it
loves
meant
this
I could
game.
go
I can
live on
respect
an
it.
active server during a tournament month again. The qualifying, the nerves, the drama, the actual tournament match, all of it was just pure joy. I'd give anything to have it back. All this sounds great, right? Like I'm really hyping this game up. But why didn't GunZ actually become an epic esport? Well, there's a lot of reasons. Let's name a few. For one, the developers didn't know what they were doing. They fell ass backwards
And the
into a
animations are
successful
crazy.
game. If no one ever discovered K-Style and the glitches and the animation cancels, this game would have gone nowhere.
Yeah,
It
that's
wouldn't have
what I
lasted
thought.
Nearly as long as it did or has. It would have been
Yeah, I suppose like the alternative take to what I said before is just that the developers are ecstatic about this because when they released this game, they're probably like, yo, this is not very good. Like, let's hope some people buy it. And then it actually ended up being way more popular than they had ever anticipated. So maybe it's actually a good thing that all this craziness was unearthed in this game.
The developers also never fixed hacks or exploits in a fast manner.
What is this?
For most of the game's lifespan, this was a problem. People just hacked.
This looks totally... Oh, okay, I see. Here you go. This is like someone hacking.
That's what it was. Every now and then you would get a patch, and a week later...
This almost looks like a different game.
That's the way it was.
I paused it at the perfect time because look at this like horrible texture here versus like the character, which is so detailed. So, like Oblivion came out in 2006. Period. Full stop. End of statement. Like this came out in the same year as Oblivion. I don't even like half the time understand what I'm looking at in the background. It's like he explained it,
unless the ping is low enough.
But it's just not registering in my brain.
GunZ had a lot going against it, and ultimately that's why it's dead today.
That's fair.
There's still private servers up for the nerds like me who know there will never be another game with the same gameplay as GunZ. There's such a fluid, great feeling game, high skill cap. It feels like a waste to never play again. I mean, like I said, all this crap's stuck in my brain. I might as well do something with it.
It's like really interesting that I guess maybe when you've like mastered all these mechanics, like the game feels good. But I like can't even understand what's going on. Like it looks like he's just running around and flailing his sword around. I like can't even tell when he gets hits or kills or like anything. So the fact that he says that the game feels good sounds crazy to me. More power to you though, bro.
Nothing productive, but yeah, so anyway, if you're genuinely interested in actually getting destroyed and trying to play and having some really sweaty nuts, I recommend playing on Freestyle GunZ. That's the safest private server out there. It's the only one I can truly recommend to you. There's still space in the world for an esport that requires an extremely intense and precise mechanical ability. Obviously, the big esports such as League of Legends, Counter-Strike, and the likes have mechanics that are tough to master, but nothing can even hold a torch to this game. When you look at a game of League of Legends or a game of Counter-Strike at like first glance,
I think for some, and I appreciate what this guy's saying, but I think for something to like be successful as an esport, you have to have a low floor and a high ceiling. Whereas this game has a very high floor and a very high ceiling, right? Like you have to be able, like when you watch a Counter-Strike game, like you can understand what's going on, even if you don't play Counter-Strike or like Rocket League. Rocket League is actually like the perfect example because like at the core, it's just soccer with cars, with RC cars. But then like, you know, there's different like flicks and dribbling and aerial moves that you can make that it make the skill gap incredibly high. But I feel like this game just doesn't have like the level of accessibility. Like you can't watch this as an esport and understand what's going on unless you're like unless you're like wiping the sweat off of your nuts, like from just having mastered like mashing your keyboard fast enough to obliterate your opponents in this game, right? So I don't know if I buy what he's saying here.
You can't tell if a player or a team is good just by like peeking at their screen real quick, you know? In GunZ, it is painfully apparent where the skill level of the game is, like, even at a glance. If you showed me a 5-second clip of a player, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's good.
Yeah, maybe if you
no,
play
that guy
it.
Doesn't know how to play. If you made it this far into the video, I just want to thank you so much for taking so much time out of your day to listen to me talk. It means a lot to me.
Cool video.
I'm really passionate about this game. I'm glad
I like this guy.
This video. I've been working on it for a really long time, and I'm glad that I was able to share this with
This was Kadai Gaming, if you're interested. Kadai Gaming. Oh yeah, I wanted to check if this was a category on Twitch. This guy's playing GeoGuessr in between games. Can't sleep, guns prac again. Yeah, go get it. Got some grinders. This guy's stream title is just I'm fat. 50 viewers. Gotta love a grassroots esports scene.
Following my channel, you know that my main passion right now is reviving an older online game called GunZ, the Duel. It's a third-person shooter with the highest actions per minute of probably any game ever made, and it has huge esport potential.
I actually don't even think he said this part in the first video about the actions per minute. I know, like, I have to, like, fact check this because I don't know, but for, like, StarCraft, isn't, like, 400, like, something around, like, 400 is, like, really high? If people in this game are doing 600, like, why don't they just play, like, League or StarCraft or some shit and, like, actually make some money?
Be able to get a few new players are seeing this game and realizing what do you.
I mean, I think this dude is pretty much, like, single-handedly responsible for that.
You think Fortnite is the most complex and high skill ceiling shooter because you
I
have
don't
to be
think
able
that.
to build and edit fast?
I do not think that at all.
Fortnite kids, and I bet you don't have the
Sorry
balls like these other new players to get on and get good.
Holy shit.
One of the things that makes
his editing is taking a step up.
Check out this chart of GunZ Twitch viewership since the revival efforts have started.
I actually checked it, and it would have been. It probably wasn't even a month ago. It was probably like 2 or 3 weeks ago. It was at like 50 concurrent viewers when I checked.
GunZ averaged 8 viewers at any given time, but by April we averaged 146, and for May.
The question is, who in February was playing it and getting 8 viewers? You can play this game and get 8 viewers? What the fuck am I doing?
YouTube. Speaking of Twitch, maybe you've heard of Pokewall. Now, he's no Kadai. I mean, really, get on my level, bro. Poke jumped on the hype train last week, and he's trying to revive GunZ too. Poke's pull has driven some other new players to check out GunZ, as well as some old pros lurking.
Oh my god!
We see you, Dyrus.
I didn't realize Poke played this.
If you see this, check your DMs. Gosh darn it! This
true. He
really rallies behind.
Poke really is built differently. He can master guns.
My childhood game, which also still happens to hold up in 2021 and has life again. Any time of day I want to play, I can hop on and get a match going. That alone is huge. We
that is
always
sick.
Do that in the last couple years, but we could do more. The server I'm playing on is iGunZ. I recently made the jump to the server a few weeks ago, and the growth has been insane.
I was gonna say he plugged a different server on the first video.
Auto of GunZ.
Drama? GunZ drama? Oh, I see.
Had only 10 or so people at any given time last
God,
month.
this map looks terrible.
The game is popping off.
Sheesh.
If you want to play, hop onto iGunZ.net, download the game, and you will be speedrunning Carpal Tunnel Syndrome in no time. The good news is that I got my hands on the database of accounts that were created on the site, which means that I was given access to nearly 100,000 email addresses associated with GunZ players from back in the day. I'm working with the iGunZ staff to use these email addresses to send out emails to
actually fishing for people to play this game.
I'm not going to spam these guys 9 times a day or anything. As well as offering my services to them as someone who can help correctly market and monetize their game in Western markets without the pay-to-win garbage that
this dude is already doing that for free. I hope he realizes that. I mean, he seems like he just loves this game, but he is like literally already building the player base 100%. Well, not for free. I'm sure he's getting like ad revenue and shit off these videos and increased Twitch viewership. Who knows? But like he's already doing that, and he's doing a good job.
They didn't respond. Go figure. When the player base grows, so does the content. We can start hosting community-driven events and tournaments with prize pools. But
with rivals.
We can all continue to grow this game together and preserve one of the greatest esports that never was. If we make people see the potential of this game, who's to say maybe Tencent or Blizzard or even a smaller indie team doesn't decide to make a spiritual successor to this game? This niche exists.
Please
for
not
a reason.
Tencent.
People still like this game for a reason. Even new players who are
trying to as I play Valorant actively.
It is mastering. This game is unique, and we need to show people. Keep fighting the good fight, GunZ community. Let's rock.
Damn, that is wholesome. That's so sick. I love that that this guy's efforts have paid off. I think that's really cool. I'm sitting here and the whole time with that video, I was thinking, I feel like this arc of me watching these videos about this game is going to end with me playing this game. And I kind of want to do it now. I think that would be hilarious, even if it's just me and my friends being completely incompetent at it.
Hit that like
This is
button.
alright.
Smash that bell, hit that bell button, hit
Destroy my
bell
pussy.
button.
Subscribe to Dumper Man.